Harry and Meghan's 2 weeks of hell. Here's a complete timeline of one of the worst PR periods I've seen for the Sussexes ever. This might just be the most catastrophic 2 weeks, PR-wise, that I've seen for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in a very long time, if not ever. Back in April, PR Week announced that the Sussexes hired 2 new shiny public relations professionals. They were supposed to turn Harry and Meghan's world upside down. Charlie Gibson, a former associate client director at Edelman, and Kyle Boulia, an ex-corporate communications manager at United Talent Agency, joined the official office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, reporting to Ashley Hansen, Harry and Meghan's global press secretary. You've heard the name Ashley Hansen recently because she participated in that painful puff piece in Us Weekly magazine, on the record, saying her bosses couldn't have been more supportive when she had to take some extended time off for a serious surgery. Ashley told us, "When I told them, I was met with the kind of concern and care a parent would express if it were their own child," which personally sounds condescending, but okay. She said, "I was asked what I needed, how and if it could help, and told to take as much time as I needed." Not only did Harry and Meghan send flowers and care packages, Ashley says, most profoundly to me, Meghan would personally reach out to my husband daily to make sure that we were both okay and had support. She adds, "It meant so much to him and even more to me. You don't realize how much that kind of kindness and thought means until you need it." I would say nice things to keep my job too. No stranger to each other, Kyle Boulia and Ashley Hansen actually worked together before at United Talent Agency between 2019 and 2021, which is probably why neither said to the other, "This Us Weekly idea is pretty bad. The secondhand embarrassment is, well, it's exhilarating. It's giving Archetypes guest Paris Hilton circa 2003. According to PR Week, both Charlie and Kyle are incredibly talented, but mostly Charlie. UK-based Gibson is Harry and Meghan's director of communications and press contact in Europe. He's definitely been engaged because one reporter for Sky News Australia said on air that they have received direct briefings about the Sussexes from Gibson, which up until this year was few and far between, mostly because Harry and Meghan were like contractually obligated to give any dirt on the royal family to Penguin Random House, Netflix, or for some odd reason, Oprah Winfrey. You've heard my theory, right? That they blew their Spotify deal by giving the juiciest gossip to the big O. Imagine Spotify's disappointment when Meghan Markle tells Oprah Winfrey that she has identified a racist within the British royal family, but then courageously told Spotify listeners that she identified a racist movie in the form of Austin Powers. They don't compete. They don't compare. Gibson's resume says he's worked in consumer PR and brand management for more than 15 years at agencies like Splendid Communications, Light Brigade PR, and Edelman. LA-based Kyle Boulia is H&M's deputy press secretary and director of communications for U.S. media at Archewell. He joined the team from United Talent Agency, where he started out as an assistant to the vice president of corporate communications in 2018. Prior to that, he worked at an agency in Las Vegas for 3 years. It is clear to me, having worked in public relations, that Harry and Meghan should regret alienating such a significant part of their fan base by attacking the royal family. Royalists are no longer invested in their success, and that is detrimental to their future now that they've entered the celebrity/influencer space. You have to like Meghan Markle to want to buy Meghan Markle's spatula. Those are just facts. These fake royal tours are not designed to save Colombian children from online bullying. It is my opinion, said for legal reasons, that they are designed to remind people why they fell in love with Harry and Meghan in the first place by recreating the look of a royal tour through highly choreographed videos and images. Clearly, the Sussexes communication team is mapping out Sussex-friendly media and giving them unique access that favors the narrative that Harry and Meghan are trying to build. Case in point, Us Weekly magazine, People magazine, CBS News. The number of media outlets willing to pander to Harry and Meghan's fantasy, hypocrisy, and delusion has shrunk significantly. Meghan specifically lost a notable amount of relevance once we discovered the King and Princess of Wales were navigating cancer. It is no coincidence, again, in my opinion, that she was suddenly speaking publicly about her mental health again, as if to distract from the horrible year that Charles and Catherine have suffered through and are still suffering through. Some might argue in Meghan's defense, unfortunate coincidental timing, but friendly reminder, they've had 4 years to put their foot on the gas. They were locked up in Tyler Perry's mansion for months while we were stuck in our homes too. They had plenty of time to strategize during the pandemic. Instead, they've thrown a million different things at the wall to see what, if anything, sticks. Producing, podcasting, hosting cooking shows, reality stars, jam, calligraphy. Meanwhile, Prince Harry wants to be seen as the underdog, taking on the establishment, the tabloid media for the good of everyone. And despite Harry and Meghan complaining about strategic leaks to media from the palace, they have mastered the art of executing the same media strategy to change or control the narrative. P.S. Harry, Us Weekly is technically considered tabloid media in the States. Thanks for playing. This is a new position Prince Harry has found himself in, being loathed so publicly. Yeah, we used to make fun of him for being naked, stupid, and doing drugs, but nobody hated him. Thanks to the palace's PR team, despite some undeniably terrible behavior, Prince Harry was positioned as Mr. Good Time and enjoyed years of soaring popularity that he misjudged as something he was responsible for. It was his handlers working feverishly behind the scenes as the now king inched closer to the throne that didn't want one son looking entirely dysfunctional. So he was polished up nicely for the papers and enjoyed that popularity. Years of bad-mouthing and ailing Queen's monarchy during her twilight years changed public perception. Harry and Meghan told us during the Netflix docuseries that they were being ostracized because they were more popular than other members of the royal family. And now they are just generally disliked. The Sussexes are having a hard time processing that because they really did believe their own hype. More often than not, Harry and Meghan bury themselves in their own comments, which are instantly dissected all over the world, typically negatively, since we've experienced such vitriol from the pair. There's also a lot of resentment around the Sussexes' constant pursuit of public adoration and trophies. It is a shameless PR strategy to win over critics. I mean, hashtag Throwback Thursday, but it's legitimately embarrassing to include Prince Harry in the same sentence as Pat Tillman. Never forget, when it comes to PR, Harry and Meghan are very reactionary and hold grudges. The royal family plans ahead, has emergency plans in place for worst case scenarios, and they realize that headlines come and go and people are quick to forget, so why draw attention to something negative and magnify it? From dictator in heels to demon psycho moments, a disappointed Netflix to questions around missing millions at Archewell, here's a complete list of one of the worst PR periods I've seen for the Sussexes. The Hollywood Reporter's September 12th story titled "Why Hollywood Keeps Quitting Harry and Meghan" should have been lost in the weekend news dump, but the investigative piece exploded like a firecracker on the 4th of July. That's our Independence Day, Harry. I know that you know the drill, so let's just go over the Cliff's Notes. The Hollywood Reporter spoke to a dozen sources, with one of their sources still working for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The piece said everyone's terrified of Meghan. She belittles people. She doesn't take advice. They're both poor decision makers. They change their minds frequently. They call Prince Harry a charming enabler, Meghan terrible, and absolutely relentless. THR said Meghan marches around like a dictator in heels, fuming and barking orders. I've watched her reduce grown men to tears. They also warned, would you work for Harry and Meghan? Ex-employees say, run away. As our own Maureen Callahan pointed out last week, Meghan Markle has the most powerful agent in Hollywood, and this story survived the cutting room floor. How? That's sus. But it's also kind of sus that she signed with them in April of 2023 and they still haven't actually done anything with her. Insert cricket sound here. 2 weeks later, the Sussex's crisis management solution was an Us Weekly cover story with so much spin that I had to take Dramamine after reading it. Us Weekly's editor-in-chief, Dan Wakeford, tried to discredit the Hollywood Reporter's piece by explaining that they spoke to people on the record. And while Dan Wakeford, who we believe is besties with Abigail Spencer, allegedly, was bragging about sources literally on the payroll that don't want their checks to bounce, the Hollywood Reporter was admiring the 11 new trophies on their mantle from the 66th Annual SoCal Journalism Awards. And I did some digging, and 83,401 people did not sign a petition against them receiving said journalism awards. Cheers. Meanwhile, the Daily Beast followed up Us Weekly's glowing profile on Duchess secondhand baby clothes Mother Teresa with the headline, "Ex-staffers of Demon boss Meghan Markle recall psycho moments." I'm almost willing to get that sentence tattooed on my body. One source who allegedly worked with Meghan leading up to her wedding, the second one, called her a narcissist, saying, "I always thought she was a classic narcissist, and getting her staff to tell a magazine how amazing she is only confirms that in my mind." They added, "She is lovely when it is all going her way, but a demon when the worm turns." Another said there definitely were bad, very bad, even psycho moments. I witnessed people being chewed up in person and over the phone and made to feel like, I'll just say, fecal matter. There was a lot of cursing in my last video. I apologize, especially to my grandmother. But while Meghan Markle's leadership skills or lack thereof dominated the headlines, her husband was hustling an NYC solo. Prince Harry's week in New York City was more than glad-handing and networking. It was an extreme attempt to rehabilitate his image. From Ginger Winger and TMI Todger Guy to global thought leader and Mr. Cool, chasing after Jimmy Fallon. He was associating with the Clintons. He was delivering compelling, professionally written speeches on children and social media. And instead of the world covering some of these potentially impressive moments, Meghan Markle hijacked his time to shine with her Princess Puff piece in Us Weekly about what a wonderful and non-problematic boss she is. It was selfish, it was ego-driven, it was poorly executed, and poorly placed in a grocery store gossip rag. And it just goes to show that Meghan Markle's priority is to make herself look good, even if it distracts from Prince Harry having a moment in the sun. And these are not just my observations, but a former strategist for President Barack Obama that witnessed Harry's activity in NYC told the New York Post something very similar. Sources familiar with the Sussex's latest PR strategy have said that there has been a conscious effort to focus on the love royal fans still have for Prince Harry. So in the long term, that appreciation can transfer over to his wife. And dropping the Us Weekly story while Harry was in NYC completely negates that plan. Harry's New York trip was fine. He didn't accuse photographers of engaging in a near catastrophic car chase. That's an improvement. I'm not going to applaud Harry for successfully networking and not putting his foot in his mouth. I have higher expectations than that. Congratulations on completing a couple of cocktail hours and a closed-door meeting with African Parks charity. Kind of sketch. We did, on this channel, an entire video about African Parks' numerous scandals, but color me shocked when Newsweek's Jack Royston called Prince Harry out for his silence associated with the African Parks charity and the fact that Harry's NYC event with African Parks refused access to media, saying, "I think that is slightly outrageous, to be honest, because Prince Harry has faced calls to resign from the board of directors, and he has resisted those calls. So if he is going to continue to represent this organization in spite of these profoundly serious allegations, and he's going to continue advocating for African Parks, it does feel slightly cowardly to do it behind closed doors and away from public accountability. I've not seen or heard any particular justification for why it's remaining private. Cowardly is a wildly appropriate description." And let's not forget all of the negative reactions associated with Prince Harry's cringy Jimmy Fallon appearance. I mean, that's an entire video in itself. We might have to do that later this week. To recap, Hollywood Reporter, Dictator in Heels, Us Weekly, Meghan, Luxury Dablish Fairy, Daily Beast, Demon, New York Post, Meghan hijacks Harry's NYC trip, Newsweek, Harry is a coward, Various, Prince Harry has a foul mouth. Cut to this weekend. Maybe things will get better for the Sussexes, we say to ourselves. Just maybe. Prince Harry's on his way to the Well Child Awards. Surely that'll get some good attention. Well, not if the Daily Mail has anything to do with it. Prince Harry has left Netflix screaming, Marco! I mean, where are you? Seriously. The Mail broke the story that Netflix bosses are unhappy at the lack of Prince Harry footage included in his new, opposite of highly anticipated Polo docuseries, so originally named Polo. Of course, this was a last-ditch effort by Netflix to get anything out of Harry under the Sussex's $100 million allegedly deal with the streaming giant. Yes, that's right. The 5-part series about Harry's passion for polo reportedly hardly features Harry. No wonder Matthew Bellany, co-founder and former editor of The Hollywood Reporter, called Harry and Meghan's multi-million-dollar Netflix deal one of the worst in history. He featured H&M on a list of underperformers in Hollywood's hyper-inflated peak streaming era. The list covered the most costly showrunner deals, the 9-figure packs that led to 0 new shows, and the biggest underperformers of the era. Matthew and entertainment reporter Leslie Goldberg agree that H&M's 2020 docuseries Harry and Meghan about their exit from the royal family was a blockbuster hit, explaining that critics believe it's due to the fact that the pair dish dirt about the British royal family. But the entertainment gurus insist that none of the couple's other projects have connected with Netflix's audience in the same way, including Meghan's passion project Pearl, which was canceled before it even got off the ground. Despite Netflix's public commitment around Meghan's upcoming cooking show and Harry's Polo series, Bellany and Goldberg are predicting that neither project will excite Netflix's audience, nor will they attract new subscribers to the streaming giant. Translation, the ROI is just not there. As a result, both suspect that Netflix will not renew their deal with the couple, #obviously, which I think would be the final nail in the Tinseltown coffin for the Sussexes. If you think they will, then you're as delusional as Harry and Meghan are. And last but certainly not least, in fact, potentially the most damaging, the Daily Mail discovered that the Archewell Foundation didn't declare $4 million on their last tax return, with the Mail asking, where did that money go? According to their investigation, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's charity Archewell was gifted 2 grants over the last 2 years, but both are missing from the charity's latest tax return. Now, before we get all worked up, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we have to get into some logistics here. Archewell believes its records are correct, and the Mail Online did confirm that it is legal and possible that the money will appear on the next return, but still. Having the words missing millions associated with your charity is not very encouraging. It's about as flattering as the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's charity suffers an $11 million decline in donations headlines. And this is not the only investigation into the Archewell charity currently taking place. I can reveal that I received a phone call from a world-renowned investigative journalist last week inquiring about this charity. Some of his revelations are very damaging, allegedly, so you have to stay here, watch this space. To recap, Hollywood Reporter, Meghan makes grown men cry. Us Weekly, Meghan karaoke. Daily Beast, Damon. New York Post, Meghan steals Harry's thunder. Newsweek, Harry coward. Various, Prince Harry's Jimmy Fallon appearance was giving Meghan Markle baby bottle on Ellen. Daily Mail, Netflix is living to lead Prince Harry and Meghan Markle straight to the unemployment line. Also Daily Mail, missing millions. Charlie, Kyle, are you guys on vacay? Or the extended parental leave that Meghan campaigned for on her kitchen floor while using her title? Do you still have jobs? I mean, did I miss anything? You guys have to let me know. What would you do to get the Sussexes back on the right track? Let me know in the comments below. I seriously haven't seen such a bad press period since either Todger Tales Spare or the big Spotify acts where even Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal were critical of the Sussexes. I will never forget that headline. Prince Harry's podcast pitch to Spotify: talk to Putin, Trump about childhoods. Go home, Harry, you're drunk. If you made it to the end of this video, comment with the crown emoji or the word queen so I can see you. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Kinsey Schofield.